Hello, everybody. Once again, my name is Adam Pohl, and we are so happy on our Crofton Chamber podcast to have with us Casey Tate of the Arundel Volunteer Fire Department. Casey, now she does a little bit of it all. We always say what our guest's job title is, but she's a firefighter. She's an EMT. She's also a chair member on the membership side and the quartermaster side for the Arundel Volunteer Fire Department. Casey, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to talk about everything AVFD.
That's awesome. And before we get going, we want to mention a big thank you to our sponsor today, D4 Strategies. They have a little video for us, and D4 Strategies, take it away.
Public Relations. Communications. Below line marketing. We tell the power of your story. D4 Strategies, Innovative Communications.
Casey Tate with us today of the Arundel Volunteer Fire Department. All right, before we get into everything, there's a funny thing that we discovered before we started recording. Now, Casey's last name is spelled Thate, and it's not Fate, it's Tate.
Oh, no.
My name is spelled Pohl, and it's not Pahol, it's Pol. So we each have silent H's in our name. Now, I think yours is probably more problematic as far as people mispronouncing.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Every single type of pronunciation you can think of, I've gotten. So it's actually pretty funny.
I love it. Well, we got it right here. And we want everybody to know about what the Arundel Volunteer Fire Department does for our community. So before we get into things like your journey in being involved, tell us about the things that you guys can provide for us and how you strengthen our community at large.
Yeah, so the Arundel Volunteer Fire Department, we're located on Davidson Mill Road, right past the intersection of 415 424. People pass by it every day. You know, that's how I kind of found out about it growing up. We serve the local Davidsonville communities, Crofton, Gambrels, Crownsville even. We serve a huge area of the Crofton community, which is something major for us. We're first due to a lot of medical calls, fire calls. We also have a rescue squad that will help us, you know, in any type of car accident or rescue scenario. So pretty much we just love to dedicate our time and volunteer to give back to the community and be there for people in their time of need.
And of course, obviously, that is something that is so important to our community. And, you know, many people wouldn't even think you are a volunteer fire department. So donations and the support of the community is so important. Are there different ways for people to reach out and help you guys on the donation side?
Oh, definitely. So we have multiple community events throughout the year. We just wrapped up our big Christmas tree sale and we sold out in record time. So thank you to all the people who did that. We also like to send out fund drive letters throughout the year. And that's just a way for people to donate what they can and give back, you know, but we sincerely appreciate every single donation, whether it comes through selling Christmas trees or through the mail or anything like that, because in turn, everything that is donated to us comes back to the community eventually. One thing I like to kind of tell people when they don't really know where the money goes, if you drive around the county and you notice there's different types of apparatus, so you have the fire engines, you know, you have ladder trucks, you have rescue squad, you have ambulances. There are white ones and there's red ones. So little fun fact. So if they are red, that means they're owned by the company themselves and not by the county. The white ones are paid for by the county. And we're proud to have all red apparatus, which means that every single piece, all the donations that come in, they go back and pay for our apparatus. And we're actually in the process of buying a brand new rescue squad, and it's going to be a pretty hefty chunk of change. So all of the money right now is going right back to buying that rescue squad and in turn just providing for the company and make sure that we can continue to provide for our community.
So for somebody watching this right now, here leading into the holiday season, how would they donate?
So the best way to donate, you can send in a letter of a check, just to the Arundel Volunteer Fire Department, as much as you want. We appreciate anything. And then other community events. So if you see, signs throughout the year, for Pippi, for Christmas trees or anything like that, that in turn goes back to us. But honestly, the easiest way is probably just to send in a check. We do have people that donate things other than monetary items. We have multiple local Girl Scout troops and Boy Scout troops that regularly will come up, and even some mom groups. They will bring food and stuff like that, and people have dropped off turkeys and pies and stuff, and it does get eaten. So thank you very much. So it's more than money. It's just about the community and stuff, and so we love just being present, and knowing that we're there. And I want people to know that we're here, and we're always here 24/7 in case they ever need anything. So
that's phenomenal. And for you personally, because part of what the volunteer fire department is volunteers, people just coming and becoming a part of this living and breathing thing that you guys have put together. So for you, what is your story in getting involved with the Arundel Volunteer Fire Department?
Well, I grew up in the Crofton area. My dad was in the Navy, and we moved around a lot when I was a kid, but we ended up coming back to Crofton when I was in second grade. So back in 2002, we lived up on Irby Drive. And then I went to Crofton Woods, Crofton Middle, and South River. And I played sports growing up, all kinds of sports, you name it, I played it. And I always drove past the firehouse going to South River. I'm like, man, that's a pretty cool thing. I'd always like to do that, but just never had the time with sports. I ended up going to a school in Virginia, played Division I lacrosse, and then I came home after graduation, and I said, this is a good time. I have a little bit of time on my hands. And so I went ahead and applied to the Arundel Volunteer Fire Department. I started off as an EMT, and I got my EMT certification, and then I went to nursing school. So I'm actually, by trade, you can call it, I am a registered nurse at MedStar Trauma. It's basically Baltimore shock trauma, but the DC version. That's usually what I tell people. I'm at MedStar Washington Hospital Center. I absolutely love my job. I love what I do. It's super exciting. It's super adrenaline rush. It's awesome. So that's pretty much how I am able to kind of go back and forth. So then once I got more involved with the Arundel Volunteer Fire Department, and I fell in love with the fire side, so I went back and I was able to get my fire certification. So I've been doing that for a little over a year now, and still riding the ambulance, still doing the fire and stuff. And so it's really cool. And it came at such a unique time in my life where we had the pandemic. Right. And of course, when everything shut down, we never shut down. We still kept going. We still kept doing our thing and giving back and helping people, but on an increased level of pandemic, and dealt with countless COVID patients, local people and everything. And it was a huge privilege just to be able to give back and serve in multiple entities, from being here at the firehouse and being at a hospital, because I was in the COVID ICU. But yeah, this place has really done me some good, and I really appreciate everything that our volunteer company stands for and everything. So
that is wonderful. And I mean, it is wild to think about, but there was a time, obviously not long ago, where we were all just kind of in our houses, but in the same regard, the need for emergency services was at an elevated level due to, increased sickness in the area. What was that like for you guys?
So it was very cool, I will say. And it sounds kind of silly to say that, but when everything kind of shut down, we were still here. We ended up kind of being our own little pod, so people always had like their pods that they would work with and everything and hang out with, but we still kept going. And we, like I said, we transported countless COVID patients. And very early on in the pandemic, we kind of were aware of what COVID was and how it presented, but a lot of people weren't. So when we went to somebody's house and they had, I have this symptom, and in the back of our heads, we're kind of looking at each other through our masks, like, definitely exactly. Had COVID. We weren't able, obviously, to tell people that because we can't confirm it. I remember one patient in particular ended up, not getting into too many details, but ended up transporting her when she had COVID but didn't know it. And then a few months later, we went back to an apartment, and it was her again. And so she had gotten to the hospital. She had beat COVID, but unfortunately her husband passed from COVID, I think just a couple days prior to that. But we spent so much time with her because the hospitals were so crowded that we ended up waiting with her in our ambulance for about 3 hours until a bed was available. So we got to get to know her, like we got to bond and everything. And we helped call her family and stuff like that. And that was such a monumentous occasion and just moment for me because, you know, you're sitting with somebody in close quarters and we're all decked out in our, you know, PPE and everything. But the best thing that we could have done for her was to keep her mind off of everything. And so getting to have that bond and, you know, talk about everything but what was going on. Exactly. And then being able to go back and see her. I didn't know it was her until I walked in the door and saw her face. I said, "Oh man, it's you." And she didn't recognize me in the PPE, but once I told her, "Hey, I transported you a couple months ago," it's like she immediately gave me a hug. And you know, it's moments like that where a lot of our calls that we go on, nobody really understands unless you're in it. You know, we see things that nobody should see. We go to people's houses and we're there for people in their time of need. A lot of people have never called 911 before, and it's hard for them to kind of just fathom. But I kind of tell a lot of our new members, especially coming in, you know, be mindful of what you're doing because people remember your face. People remember how you walked, how you talked, how you treated them, because those impressions last a lot longer. Especially in a heightened sense of, oh my goodness, I just called 911, what's going to happen? So if I can be a bright light in somebody's dark time, that's pretty much how I interpret it and look at it, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that really is something. And obviously you came in to this as a volunteer. So you guys are currently accepting more, right? So if somebody wants to be involved with the Arundel Volunteer Fire Department, how would they go about that?
Yeah, oh my goodness. So before we get to that, I can't talk without appreciating all of our career members. We do have 2 career firefighters that are here with us 24/7 on 4 different shifts. And then we also have some day workers as well that come in and help us out during the day. So I can't go without shout out to them because without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. But we do have a lot of volunteers and we're always looking for more. So if you are interested in becoming a member and a volunteer with us, we offer administrative membership, which is just, you know, if you want to help out with community relations and stuff like that and other little administrative side things, we accept administrative members, and we also accept operational members who are able to ride the apparatus and go to calls. All they have to do is go to arundelfire.com. Okay. And then from there should be a link that says join now, and then from there you can apply, and I'm actually the person that's in charge of that, so I'll see all the applications that come through. We actually have a couple interviews later today. And it's a pretty monthly thing, but all the training is free. We provide free meals, especially if you're riding, so it's always a perk. And you know, you get to make friends and bonds that will last a lifetime and make a huge difference in the community. So for me, I want to get back to the community that gave me so much as a kid, and hopefully I'm doing just that. So
Casey, that is fantastic. This has really been great to get to know more about what you do. And we really, really appreciate you taking the time to talking to us today.
No, thank you so much, Adam, for having me.
So this is once again our Crofton Chamber podcast. I want to say a big thank you to D4 Strategies as well for being our sponsor today. Casey, I got to list it out again. You're a firefighter, you're an EMT, and you're the chairperson on the membership and quartermaster side for the Arundel Volunteer Fire Department. Thanks again so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
This has been, my name is Adam Pohl. We are the Silent H Duo. This has been our Crofton Chamber podcast, and we'll see you again very soon.